What's up, everybody? How we doing? Matt Modi here with OddsJam, here to give you some bets to lock in for the NFL Divisional Round, specifically for Saturday. So we're looking at the two games, obviously Eagles-Giants as the night game, Chiefs-Jags as the early game, using OddsJam to find plays to lock in for Saturday's betting slate. We'll come out with, we've come out with a bunch of different types of videos for all of these games. Odds are constantly changing. Lines are constantly on the move. So pretty much at any point in time, there can be more and more betting opportunities to lock in. So for today, or for this video specifically, we're looking at Saturday's slate. We're going to have last minute videos for each game of the games going on Saturday. Also a slate for Sunday, a video for Sunday's slate as well. So make sure to subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. Give me a follow at my Twitter handle, Jedi Modi. Make sure to follow the OddsJam Twitter channel as well at OddsJam. Let's get into it. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here that I've actually already locked in. It's still available, still a really good play. As you can see on the check mark here, I have added this to my OddsJam bet tracker. Giants first quarter money line plus 200 odds. So plus 200 means if your bet hits, you will double your money. I put 75 bucks on this one. So if I win, I will profit 150 bucks. Sounds pretty nice. Let's chat about this one. Number one are these no vig odds here. So looking at this screenshot, we see odds range from plus 200 down to plus 155. Pretty massive range of odds, right? Well, one of these sports books is going to be more accurate than the other for this market, right? They both can't be an accurate representation of what this market should be priced at. Maybe they're both wrong. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe one's right and one's wrong. Regardless, they both can't be right. So when it comes to sports betting, there are some sports books, to put it simply, that are right more often than not. They're correct more often than not. So what OddsJam did with this thought in mind is backtest thousands and thousands of betting opportunities to figure out, okay, which ones are right the most, right? Seems pretty easy, seems pretty logical. So that's exactly what OddsJam did. They tested all of this data and said, okay, let's pretend 5 sports books are consistently the most accurate in terms of how they price odds consistently. So we're going to use them to set the market. So that's exactly what feeds into these no vig odds here. They're pulled from using a weighted average from the sharpest sports books in the world with the vig removed. The vig just being the juice that sportsbooks price odds. So pretty much across the board, we see DraftKings at plus 200. Look at every other book. The closest one looks to be Pinnacle at plus 182. But that right off the bat, that doesn't mean, okay, so every play on here is positive EV. Does that mean I should hammer every single play on here? The answer is no. There's additional work that I recommend doing. And I don't mean like check the injury notes, check the trends, check the matchups. I mean, let the sports books kind of work against each other. So DraftKings has this at plus 200. I mentioned every other book has it kind of in the plus 180s. So let's see where sports books price this with the vig removed, right? The vig being the juice that sports books price odds. It's how they make their money. So removing that just gives you an accurate representation of what every sports book prices the odds at. So if you click view event page in a new tab, it pulls up this screen we see here. This little button removes the vig. So if you just click this button, it shows you where every sportsbook has this true line of this market priced. So remember, we locked in this bet at DraftKings at plus 200. I locked this one in. That's a different bet, but I locked this one in on DraftKings. So DraftKings had it at plus 200. Look at the no vig line of every other sportsbook. No other sportsbook. The closest one is plus 194. And there's, like I mentioned, there are sports books that are better than others. Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world. No vig line of Pinnacle is plus 191. Bookmaker, another very sharp sports book. No vig line of plus 187. All of these sports books have their true line priced below what we got it at DraftKings at plus 200, which is the market's telling you that DraftKings has this mispriced. Every other sports book is charging more money for this New York Giants money line than DraftKings. DraftKings has it at the cheapest. The most likely scenario here is that DraftKings just has this mispriced compared to every other sportsbook. So more often than not, if you're taking advantage of mispriced lines, then you will be profitable. So this is play number one. And I do this with every single play. I go to the markets, I remove the vig, and I make sure that we're getting an outlier. Not necessarily to every single sports book like this one. Not every single time are you going to beat the no vig odds. But if you can beat the no vig odds of the majority, and then also of the sharp ones like Pinnacle, like Bookmaker, BetOnline's another sharp one, then that's good enough. As long as you're beating the majority, including the sharp ones, that's good. Like this Isaiah Hodgins one. No vig line as, well, I guess I should say, the play is Isaiah Hodgins over 4.5 receptions. The play is at plus 135 odds at Bet365. The no vig odds for this one is at about plus 132. We are getting it at Bet365 at plus 135. So right off the bat, there's a gap between these two numbers that's profitable, right? We're getting a higher payout than the true accurate representation of what this sportsbook should be priced at. And then let's compare the other sportsbook, right? We see Pinnacle all the way down at plus 103, see BetOnline at plus 120, DraftKings also at plus 120, as is Caesars and PointsBet. If you remove the vig, this plus 135 does beat the no vig odds of Pinnacle. That's a good sign. BetOnline, another good sign. And DraftKings is actually also surprisingly good, specifically with player props. So it beats the line of those three, as well as the majority. So this plus 135 odds is a true outlier. So I just locked this one in right before we recorded. As you can see here, $75 is kind of my unit size, or I guess 3/4 of a unit. $75 equals 3/4 of a unit for me. And that's kind of standard for what I put on a player prop. So that's what I put on this one, $75 to return 176, which means a profit of like $101, something like that. So play number 2, Isaiah Hodgins over 4.5 receptions. Play number 3, also at Bet365, is Dallas Goedert over 49.5 receiving yards. So I actually locked this in at Bet365. I got over, I think 47.5. So I got a pretty good price on this one. It's still positive EV at over 49.5. So we are going to continue to lock this in. I think this might be the third video that I've had a Dallas Goedert over as one of my plays, but it's still available. So if people happen to miss those two, you can still get it at over 49.5, and it's still a really good price. No vig odds on this one are at about minus 112. We are getting it at minus 110. So that is your outlier between the two books. Looking at how these other sportsbooks price it, Pinnacle at minus 135, DraftKings at minus 125, FanDuel, Caesars, minus 132, minus 137. And majority of sportsbooks actually price Dallas Goedert receiving yards over 49.5. So if you click View Event Page and review it in a new tab, it pulls up where every sportsbook is pricing the receiving yardage prop for Dallas Goedert, and we can see majority of them have him priced over 49.5. So we got 49.5. Look at every other book, and this is with the vig removed. We got 50, 51.5, 52.5. So majority of sportsbooks have him priced over the 49.5, which is a good sign for us. So not only does it beat the no vig odds of the majority of the books, including the sharp ones, it also, the books that don't price it at 49.5 price it above. So no matter how you slice it, that's a good sign for us. So this Travis Kelce one, I'm actually not going to lock in, and I'll tell you why. So Caesars has it at minus 101. Looking at the other sportsbooks that price it, Pinnacle has it all the way at minus 125. But look at the other books. DraftKings and BetMGM have it at basically a 50-50 outcome each way. If you remove the vig from these two books, it would equal plus 100. I know that because I charge equal juice on each side. You see minus 115 on the over and the under. That is them saying they don't know what outcome is more likely, so they're charging an equal amount of juice on each side, which equals 50-50, right? They think it's, or plus 100, it equals plus 100. So this minus 101 wouldn't beat the no vig odds of 2 of the 3 books. And Pinnacle actually seems to be the bigger outlier here with how they have it priced. So that's why I am not locking in this Travis Kelce one. So next up, we have the first quarter total under 9.5 plus 105 odds at BetRivers. Looking at the other books, BetRivers at plus 105. Across the board, we see minus 105 and minus 115. Literally across the board, except for Circa and Pinnacle, which has it at minus 105 and minus 109. So the closest one, having it at minus 102 with every other book pretty much at minus 105, is a good sign for our BetRivers bet under 9.5 points, the first quarter total under at plus 105 odds. So this is going to be my 4th and final pick for this video. I had one more, but as you can see, the odds changed on this one. So I'm just going to have 4 picks for this video, bets for you to lock in for Saturday's NFL betting slate. Turns out they're all in the Eagles-Giants game, but that wasn't on purpose. So I definitely recommend locking in all these bets. And if you do, comment and let me know. But that's it. So appreciate everybody watching and have a good one.